Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on January 2nd, 2021 at approximately 5:14 p.m. PST. I've been asked by an awful lot of people lately how to go about getting more in tune with your spiritual self and how to enhance that receptivity. Now, there's a couple of things to keep in mind. First and foremost, before you go anywhere else, everything revolves around one concept. You have to believe it is possible for you to actually get there. Not easy to get there, just possible. Because whether you believe you can attain that clarity or you believe you can't, in either way, in either event, you will be correct. You will be correct. Now, the first thing I do personally, and these are the same tools that I use myself on a regular basis. Number one, you always look for the positive side of something. Now, this can be real challenging, and as I've mentioned before, I have my own hindrances with it. But when you're looking at something from an outside source, it becomes a lot easier to look at it and go, now, what's the positive thing I can find out about this? For example, your finances may be a shambles. Lord knows mine still are. But what I keep looking at is I'm making headway, not as much as I would like, but that can be changed. And quite frankly, I've already altered the path I was on there. So the first thing you do is get yourself centered. Okay, take the time to really look in the mirror and go, what am I content with in my life? That is the first thing you have to do. Now, if your health isn't running as smoothly as you'd like, and this is going to go against a lot of what any of you out there, or what most of you out there are taught, where it comes to the chakras. Okay, most of you have been taught that they run in a straight line down the middle. Now, this being said, they've got your root chakra right at the base, your crown chakra at the top. Now, and most of the Reiki healers out there have been taught there are 7 chakras. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. Number one, I don't deal with 7. Like, I was asked one day why I don't actually go to a Reiki healer myself. Well, the reason is this. Most Reiki healers are taught that there are 7, set from the crown all the way to the root. The really good ones realize that there are chakras above the crown and below the root. Now, with this in mind, that makes 9. I work with 28. Okay. I think it's, 28. Let's see, there are 9 and 6 is 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Sorry, 29. 29 chakras I deal with right off the bat. Okay. Now, some people will call them minor. Okay, I think it's 29. I think I just counted that wrong. But in any event, one of these days, I really should do something about that. Let's try that again. We've got 9 and 6 is 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and then 10. There's actually 31 I work with. Now, many people will tell you the foot chakras are minor chakras. However, it was literally by opening up the foot chakras and bringing the cerebral chakra and the small of back chakra into balance that I reminded a young lady how she could walk after she had been trapped in a wheelchair for 3.5 years. The doctors had given up on her completely. Now, that's the first thing to keep in mind. The second thing, if your health is not in absolutely what you consider great shape, all you have to do is keep one thought running through your head. Now, you can enhance this. If you take your hands, you put them palms together, about a half an inch apart. Okay, maybe an inch. You'll be able to feel something. Some people will call it, well, instead of my telling you, give it a shot and leave me a comment in the comment section below on what you felt. Okay. I've heard seven, if I remember correctly, about 7 different methods of interpreting that energy. You will feel something there. I'm not going to tell you what, but once you feel it, understand energy does not run just one direction. Energy runs both directions at the same time. With electricity, if you desire energy to go the other way, you have to rewire things to get the wires to work right. With energy itself, it automatically runs both directions. So once you've got that energy felt between your hands, run one thought through your head, only one word: heal. You do not have to know what is wrong with your body. You simply have to recognize that something isn't feeling right. Your body knows what's wrong. But by focusing on that energy and the concept of heal, you will tell the energy, go out and repair the damage. I don't care what it is, make it better. Okay, that would be first and foremost. Now, the other thing you do is when you're done reading this video, or better yet, pause the video for a moment, walk over to whatever reflective surface you choose, look in the eyes of the person looking back at you, and you literally tell them, I forgive you for everything you feel you have done and everything you think you may have done. Okay, let's correct that. Rewind. You literally tell yourself, I forgive you for everything you have done and everything you feel you may have done to hinder my personal growth and happiness. This will help release the negative energy that is running through you. And it'll help you let go of those anchors to the past. Now, yes, you can absolutely choose to go back and dwell on them. I don't see the point to it, but Lord knows habits are really rough ones to get through. That's first and foremost. The other thing you do while you're standing there looking at the person in the mirror, you tell them, I give you permission to move forward with or without whoever you feel it is you're still hanging on to, be it an ex, be it a friendship that you're striving to bring to a close, but you know there's something holding you back. Okay. Now, there are other things that you can do in addition. Now, I'm sure most of you have heard about the concept of surrounding yourself with a bubble of white light. Okay. The way you do that is you picture right here. Feel, you literally visualize a ball of light growing from here, spreading out through your system, and while you're feeling it, feel the warmth in your system climb until that white light is fully engulfing you. Okay, once you've done that, take that bubble of white light and surround the whole thing with mirrors facing away from you, kind of like looking through one-way mirrors. Okay, then you run really thick, healthy roots right from the soles of your feet straight to the core of the earth. Now, the white light will help protect you from the negative ambient energy, the stresses and what have you that are generated just because you happen to be living on this planet. The stresses of day-to-day life. The mirrors will reflect back the negative energy you personally generate. Now, it would be nice if I actually thought things through first. The white light does protect you from the negative energy that is just being generated because you're on this planet. Okay, it kind of comes along hand in hand with life. The mirrors reflect back any negative energy somebody else generates, i.e., you may have noticed walking between two people that have been fighting, you may have noticed that you feel really, really sticky after you walk between them. The mirrors will reflect that negative energy back to them. Okay. And if you've got that thought process of heal, it will also transform that negative energy into positive energy. Net result, helping to cleanse the energy around you as well. Now, the thick roots I talked about running from the soles of your feet to the core of the earth, That will bleed off the negative energy you personally generate. Things like self-doubt, self-recrimination, self-reprisal. The kind of thing that you look at yourself going, I should have done this. I know better than this. There's no way I should have let that happen. Okay. It will also help alleviate the fears that you may have. So take the time to really think things through. Stay focused on the idea that you really are worth the effort. Now, these are just a couple of the tools that I personally use. Okay. The other one that I personally use, and this is the best physical energy cleanser I've come across this lifetime. If you've got a tub, fill the tub with water as far as normal, with as warm a water as you personally can feel comfortable sitting in. You fill it up as full as you can. Throw 4 teaspoons of salt, preferably sea salt, definitely not Epsom salt. Throw in standard table salt will work quite nicely. 4 teaspoons of salt and 4 teaspoons of baking soda. You sit in it and soak for 20 minutes to half an hour. It is the best physical energy cleanser I've come across this lifetime. Now, you may find that you need to do this a number of times the first week, but it will get down to the point where it's just a rotating thing. Kind of like taking a normal bath, but with the intention. And when I'm talking about just salt and baking soda, no, definitely not Epsom salts, no bubble bath, no essential oils, just the salt and the baking soda. That will help clean off that negative energy. And again, it's one of these things. It's one of the ones that I personally use it. Now, understand, when we're talking about this energy here, okay, you start with your hands not touching, only a quarter of an inch, a half an inch apart, until such time as you can feel it. Now understanding it comes out of both hands. When you're focusing on that energy, you should get a rolling feel with it. Okay. As it gets stronger, you'll be able to separate your hands. Now, without thinking, I can feel the energy from one hand to the other, this far apart, without even trying. Okay. Now, it's really neat. Some of the things you can do with energy that will help strengthen your ability and help you get more realigned with the path you desire to be on. For instance, if you have a headache, okay, now modern technique is to take medication for it. My technique, take your hand, doesn't matter if it's right or left, doesn't matter which one. Place it palm down on something solid. Okay. Now, this can be a heavy chair, a couch, a wall, a heavy table, a counter, it doesn't matter. As long as it's not easy to pick up. That normally sits on the floor. You put your hand on that and you feel the negative energy, the excess energy, run out of your hand, much like water out of a faucet. You will likely feel yourself seem to get a little more weight. Okay, but that little more weight is because you're releasing the excess energy. Kind of like letting the air out of a balloon. Now, that only takes a few moments. Okay, but as you get stronger, you'll be able to simply put your hand, face it towards the floor, and let it flow out of your hand and into the floor itself. Again, this will reduce your stress level. Okay. That said, you'll be able to turn the energy in your life around, making things a whole lot more reasonable, more functional to deal with. Now, the thing is, when you're taught Reiki, okay, if you were taught how to work with Reiki, you were taught a bunch of sigils, you were taught a bunch of patterns, and the one critical thing you were taught was pull the energy from the etheric plane through the crown chakra, all the way through your body to the heart chakra, and then out down your arms so you can put your hands where you require the energy to go. Now, people often have asked me, why don't I get tired when I'm working with energy? It's because I don't do it the same way. I never learned the same way, so I cannot call myself a Reiki master. I can tell you that if you take a pipe, which is essentially what we're talking about, when you pull the energy through your body and out through your hands, okay, you will leave little bits and pieces of residual energy inside. As it gets plugged up, as it gets clogged, as with standard piping, it'll slow down the flow of the water. Now, because of that, okay, it'll flow down, the standard plumbing flows down the water. Energy slows down the energy flow. Okay, so of course, this is why you're told when you're healing somebody or when you're assisting somebody to heal, make certain you clear the energy. Okay, the reason is because of the buildup inside, it slows it down. Now, the way I do it, because I was never taught, so I cannot call myself a Reiki master. But the way I figured out is you pull the energy down, let it flow around the outside of you, and then use your hands to guide it. If you think of it this way, if you take a stream of water from a tap, you take a hollow straw, and you put the hollow straw in the tap, in the stream. The water goes through the straw, you rearrange it, this is your arm, rearranging that, redirecting it to get it where you desire the energy to go. If you let the energy come around your body and down your hands as a guideline, picture your hand now being a steel rod. You stick the one end in the water. You take the other end and point it where you require it. The energy is still going to get where you're going. It will still leave residual. The difference is that as it drops a little bit of residual, it builds it up on the outside of your energy field, thereby not restricting the energy flow. Yeah, you may feel a little heavier, but you'll still have full energetic resources. Okay. Yes, once in a while it would be advisable to clean it off, but this is where that soak in the tub comes in. Because it will bleed off all that negative energy that is right there. Now, that's to start with. A couple of other things. Okay, very important in the house. I've talked to you before about Feng Shui. When you have a mirror, okay, especially if said mirror faces towards a window or a doorway, around the edge of the mirror, put either your adhesive decals of plants. Vines work best of all. Okay, for instance, okay. Now you put those around the edges of the mirror, and that will override the rebounds because the vines bring in prosperity. Okay, instead of bouncing straight back out the door. You do that, it stops the energy from leaving your house. You can now redirect things and get it to stay put where you desire it. Okay. Well, didn't get a chance for that one. These are just a couple of the tricks that I use personally to make certain that the energy in my world is moving properly. Okay, if you haven't done these things before, give them experiment with them and see what works for you. Absolutely, I would love to hear your comments below. So again, if you liked the video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel to get the rest of the information. And I definitely am asking for you to join me on this journey to spread this message to everyone in existence. Because the primary reason I came back to this world, as far as that went, is to pass on the message that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. This is extremely important if we are going to turn this world back around to where it should be. Bring back the feeling that it could have. But it's going to require all of our assistance, all of our effort to make it happen. Each person to their own home first. Okay. Now, yes, I'm absolutely asking you for help because much as one person can do it, it's going to take forever and a day. But if we spread this word to everybody, given that every hour, one person can only do 1 man-hour of work. When we get everybody working together in that same hour, we can get up to about 7.5 billion people working on the same project, thereby completing about 7.5 billion hours of work from an energetic standpoint in only 1 hour. You see where working together can make this a whole lot easier? Okay. The other thing you have to remember, and this is very critical when it comes to keeping your own energy levels high. Remember, you're not responsible for other people's choices. I know a lot of alcoholics out there that will look at their other half and go, "It's your fault I'm drinking. You're to blame." Well, bad news. First rule of spiritual involvement. Take responsibility for your own actions. If you're drinking too much, unless somebody is physically holding you down and pouring the drink into your mouth, you're the one responsible. You're the one making that choice. Now, to be clear, I used to drink a 26er a night without even thinking. Okay, like it would just go. But I made the cognitive choice not to do that anymore. If you're having trouble breaking away from it, I strongly encourage you to voluntarily go into a support group like AA, or if drugs is your hang-up, NA. There are a lot of different group help. Try English? There are a lot of self-help groups out there. Okay. Now, by the way, this is a live recording, meaning all the hiccups that you're hearing, those are normal. That's just me. So all I do when I get done this is double check the date, make sure I got the date right, and then post it as is. Okay. Where it comes to food, where it comes to your physical body. Now, I am not a dietitian by any functional stretch, but I will tell you, if you're having struggles dropping weight, first rule of thumb, don't try losing it. And when you lose something, instinctively, people seem to try and go and find it again. In the case of weight, it seems to come back with friends. So change your thinking pattern to literally dropping the weight, not losing it. Even shedding the weight works nicely. Okay, if you go back into other videos I've done with the subtitle language, you'll find some other key points in linguistical modification that would be beneficial for you. Okay, overall, energy does not get destroyed. You can redirect it, you can alter it, but you cannot destroy it. Okay, and this applies to every entity in existence. Okay, the energy is already there. It can be reorganized time and time again, but it does require your belief that you can pull it off. Okay, now, when we're talking about 2022 here, okay, this is the time to really start shifting gears. We've let things sit for a couple of years, okay, and everything is just kind of a mess if you ask me. But you can do the same thing walking into a room. You can concentrate on that energy that we've already talked about. And you can literally visualize the place being totally engulfed in white light. And while you're doing that, concentrate on that single word, heal. Whatever language you're speaking does not matter. Use whatever language you use. The word heal works. Okay. But as I said, we are here. I was brought back to this world to pass on the message that working together, we can make this a better world for most people. With this in mind, I am absolutely asking you to give me a hand with spreading this message. I will absolutely ask you, if you've got a surplus, take that surplus and utilize it to help people who are in need. Now, I was really happy to know, to see, and I'm assuming it's accurate, that apparently in San Diego, they have legislated that all edible foods from grocery stores and what have you, all edible foods must be donated to the food banks and to the first responders to help in emergency situations. To my way of thinking, it should have been a no-brainer. People should have been doing it anyway. But it is a step in the right direction. And I do encourage people to continue doing that. Like, I'm getting rid of a lot of stuff. But what do I do with it? I find out what's usable. And if I know somebody that can use it, I will turn it over to that somebody. If I don't, I'll turn it over to an outlet that can find somebody that can use it. Very important when you're working to turn your energy around and to get a handle on the increased flow. Understanding the basics is critical. Okay. Now, I have tried one ceremony, if you will, that has worked like a charm. Okay, and I encourage you to look up something called the violet flame. Okay, I have used it multiple times myself. And it works beautifully for bringing energy levels back up and for strengthening your own. Okay, now we are down to the last couple of minutes here. So I'm going to bring this to a close. But I encourage you all, let's start working together. Okay, it's time to treat people the same way you desire to be treated. Follow the 3 rules I follow. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. Okay. Now, I'd love to hear your comments and your thoughts in the comments below. If you've got direct questions you'd like to ask that you don't desire to ask to everybody else, turn around and ask me those in one of the contact points listed below this video. There are many books I've already got in print. You can find a list of them there. Only The Birth of the Wolf Pack is available directly on Amazon right now, through Author House, and therefore through Barnes & Noble and Indigo. Okay, but I will be back again tomorrow. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.